Welcome to the video. Quite a fun one planned today. I've been waiting to do this for a little while, but I've come out to shoot with the iPhone 17 Pro in more of a city street style environment to kind of see how I can shoot with it, see what we can make with it, and of course share the results with you, just in case you're wondering kind of what photos you can make out of the iPhone 17 Pro. All of these images are going to be shot in Pro RAW, and I will have edited them myself in Lightroom. So I've actually already started the shoot over in Covent Garden. I had to pick up something from a shop there. Got a few shots, wasn't wow. So I exited there, to be honest. The mania was slightly irritating me. So I've come into the city. I'm at St Paul's at the moment. I guess you could say I'm going to cheat a little bit with this one and take myself to some very iconic London locations that are relatively easy to shoot in, but I haven't been to London for a while, so I'm quite excited to be out here. Anyway, I do also have the Fuji with me, so in some instances I might snap a shot with that and then I'll show you the comparison. So far, I've actually taken quite a few photos and I think some of them have come out pretty well. So I hope you're enjoying them. Everything will be labelled up so you know what is shot with what, and indeed what lens I've shot on the iPhone. So I'll stop rambling, we'll get walking and see where the afternoon takes us. Right, so just approaching the bank area, perfect timing, the light is starting to drop, getting some really nice long shadows, so hoping to take full advantage of that. Picked up an exceptional coffee, as always, from Roslyn Coffee. If you're in the city, Roslyn, the spot to go. And I'm wearing a new hat, so I think that's helping with the photo vibe this afternoon. Actually, I really like it. Photo Club, perfect hat. I picked it up off a fellow creator that I kind of discovered on Instagram, Brandon, I believe is his name. Current Spaces, I'll link it down below. Anyway, I digress. iPhone, loving it so far. The best thing without doubt with the iPhone in terms of photography is the versatility that it gives with all of those different lenses. As I've said before, there's no replacing a camera. As you can see, I still have my Fuji with me because I do prefer it. However, on a nice little walkabout like this, I am finding myself pulling out the phone a lot, and I'm stood in one position and I can get 4 very different shots, or maybe even more, 3, 4, whatever it is. I can try the 0.5, the 1, the 2, the 4 and the 8 zoom. So I hope you're enjoying a little bit of versatility. So I'm going to crack on now, mooch around bank here a little bit, and then I'm going to head down to the river to see if we can capture some nice light off London Bridge to close out the afternoon. Okay, so that concludes my shoot with the iPhone 17 Pro in London, capturing some street and city style photography. Overall, a great shoot. I hope that the sample images that I showed you throughout the video gave you good insight into what you can achieve with an iPhone. To be honest, this doesn't have to apply to just the iPhone 17 Pro or any iPhone in particular. It could be an Android phone or anything in between. And I believe pretty much anything that's been released in the past 5 years or so, you could get some really good results with if you apply some good photographic knowledge and technique, and of course a bit of creative flair. You can get some absolutely cracking images out of a phone. Now, the highlight for me is absolutely the versatility that the lenses give you. You get that 0.5, the 1, the 2, the 4 and the 8. So from standing from one position, you can get so many images, and I absolutely love having that in my pocket. For me personally, I think the x4 is probably my favourite focal length. I leant towards that a lot, and I just enjoy being able to pick out those details from afar and show maybe a slightly different perspective that people don't usually shoot. I know a lot of people are a fan of the 0.5 lens. When I love it, but I probably use it quite sparingly. However, in something like St Paul's, when I was in One New Change in the shopping centre and I was framing St Paul's with the interior of the shopping centre, it was golden, and I couldn't have done it without it. I had my Fuji on me, as you will have seen, and I just couldn't get the shot that I wanted with it. So even if I hadn't have been shooting specifically for the iPhone on this day, I would have pulled my iPhone out and taken that shot with the 0.5 lens. So the versatility is by far the clear win when having an iPhone. And as we all know, we've probably got it in our pocket all the time. So it's a real powerhouse. I didn't compare as many Fuji and iPhone photos as I potentially had planned when I went out, but to be honest, it was a bit hard to manage both. And in the end, I ended up getting into quite a role and shooting with my iPhone pretty fluidly. I don't quite get the same feel naturally that I would with a camera, but in the end, I did get into the mindset, and I was pulling it out all of the time and seeing different bits and pieces. And as I got kind of more acquainted with the lenses, I knew looking what I would be able to capture from certain focal lengths. I just wanted to touch on editing a little bit, because I found when I went through and edited the images, I made very similar edits or adjustments across the board on all of the images. I should preface this by saying, I think I did already mention it earlier in the video, everything was shot in Pro Raw, and for me this is essential to make sure that you can get as much out of the image as possible and recover as much data as you might need in highlights and shadows. Mostly I was just trying to reduce the sharpening and that digital crunchy look. So to do this, I was often dropping clarity, dehaze, raising my blacks a little bit, playing around with the sharpness, and that was pretty much it. Other than some color adjustments, which is a bit more on the creative side, this gave it a much softer look that I kind of prefer, and it's something a little bit more similar that would come out either of my Fuji or my Sony. There was one exception to the rule where I didn't shoot in Pro Raw, and that was the image that I shot in the tube station at St Paul's, where it said to Street. I love this image because you had the sign there and then you had the escalators going either side. It looked super messy with it being a frozen frame, and I knew that I could play a little trick with the iPhone, which is to shoot in live mode. Unfortunately, when you shoot in live, you're not in Pro Raw. So you hit live, you need to focus on the still part of the image. So I focused on the street sign, the to Street sign, held my focus there, held the phone really still, shot the image, and then you can go into the photo itself within the Apple Photos app, and you can hit the top left and you can choose an option that says long exposure, and that will actually blend those. I think it's like, I don't know how many images it is, it's quite a few images, maybe something between 5 and 10, blends them together and it adds motion to the bits that were moving. So I got a really nice result. I was actually really pleased with that, and to be honest, it edited it up okay, but I could tell the difference in terms of being able to recover highlights and shadows when I did edit it in Lightroom compared to the Pro Raw images. I mean, what you can get out of those is actually really quite impressive. So overall, a very enjoyable experience, and you know, it was fun to have the challenge of just going to shoot with my phone. Would I choose it over my camera? Absolutely not. But am I impressed with it? I absolutely am. Every time a new phone comes out, it's really quite like mind-blowing what you can achieve with it. And of course, versatility and having it with you all the time is just an absolute no-brainer. So I hope you enjoyed this one. If you do have any questions, please do drop them down below. I'd be happy to answer them if I can. And happy shooting. I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.